Shana Puccia, and I am the CEO of the Duarte Chamber of Commerce. And we are delighted to have you here, along with the League of Women Voters, Pasadena, who are helping us host this evening's forum. Those of you who have not had a moment to grab a card and pose your questions, please take a moment, or raise your hand, and one of our volunteers or board members will bring that over to you. With that said, I thank you for being here. We'd like to thank Westminster Gardens for hosting us this evening. Bernadette and Jim, please raise your hands to be acknowledged. They did all the heavy lifting tonight. I just get to hold the microphone for you. And it is also my pleasure to introduce the students from CS Arts who will be filming this evening. So if you would all wave at them, and you will see their work posted later on. With that, I get to introduce our Madam Moderator, Tony, who is joining us from the League of Women Voters. So thank you all for being here. Oh, Pledge of Allegiance. I always forget that. If you would please stand and put your hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay. I want to test to see if everyone can hear me. Anybody in the back? Everybody, would you raise your hand in the back if you can hear me? That's good. Okay. Welcome to the Duarte School Board Candidate Forum. We thank our sponsor, the Duarte Chamber of Commerce, our host, Westminster Gardens, and all the candidates. We especially thank all of the audience for your participation. You, the voters, are the most important people here. My name is Tony Kavanaugh Johnson, and I'm a member of the League of Women Voters, Pasadena area. Duarte is one of the San Gabriel Valley communities that the Pasadena League of Women Voters serves. The League's mission is making democracy work by building a community of engaged, informed, and participating voters. Facilitating candidate forums is one way we advance this goal. We study and act on public policies, but
never endorse or support candidates or political parties. In planning this forum, it should be noted that the League of Women Voters requires that sponsors have not endorsed any candidate in the election. Additionally, sponsors have no input into the selection of questions asked to the candidates this evening. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce the rest of the League team. In addition to me, we have Maureen Johnston. Oh, there she's the timekeeper. Yeah, she's going to wave those things around at you all. In addition, we have Valerie Jones and Jean Bunagel, who are the question sorters. The candidates running for the seats on the Duarte School District, representing District 4, are Ms. Holguin, yes, and Mr. Alton Preston. The candidates running for seats representing District 5 are Mrs. Diaz and Mrs. Sanchez. They will serve a 4-year term on the board. Effective April 30th, 2022, Jacqueline Koo resigned from the board. The candidates in this election to complete her unexpired term are Ken Ball, Mr. Ball, and Tom Reyes, Mr. Reyes. Whichever candidate wins the most votes will hold the board seat until 2024. Because this unexpired seat is an at-large seat, it will appear on everyone's ballot. Keep in mind that while you vote for a representative for your district, it's important to know the views of all candidates, as all who are elected will be making decisions that have an impact on all of the districts. Therefore, I will ask all of the candidates all of the questions, and they need to answer them. Here is an overview of the process and the flow of the evening, as well as the rules of the forum, which have been agreed to by each of the candidates. Candidates will have 1 minute to make an opening statement about themselves and their candidacy. After opening statements are completed, each candidate will have 1 minute to answer the submitted questions. At the end of the meeting, each candidate will have 1 minute for a closing statement. The audience is invited to write their questions, and I've heard that you've been invited, and I can see these people are working hard right here, sorting these questions. Been invited to write their questions at any time during the forum. Are there some runners here? Can you wave your hands? So there's one, but there's 3 runners in the back. Oh, and there's a woman in green with a card in her hand. That's exactly what I wanted to say. You can wave these cards, and the runners will come and get them and bring them here, and we will sort them out.
Excuse me.
May I ask you, in the information that I received, I got the information that we have 2 minutes for the opening statement.
That's what I had too.
I'm going to speak to the person who put this together.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, it said sort of cautiously 2 or 1, depending on time. And at a certain point in time, we came to the conclusion that what we wanted to do more than anything else was allow enough time for the audience questions, because that's what they have
2-minute speech prepared.
But if you have, yeah, I thought there was
Just go for it.
But
Okay.
we are hoping that if you don't get what you want to say into your
I
1 minute
prefer
opening,
a
you
little
can
bit
say
less
it
than 2
at the
minutes.
end.
So I think it may be hard to hear her. She thought it was 1 minute, it said it, but are you all agreeing that it said 2 minutes?
Yes.
Oh dear, okay. So if you could sort of roll through it. One of the reasons for having it shorter is so that we can have more questions, and with 6 of you. But anyhow, so if you thought it was 2 and you've got 2, do it fast.
And bear in mind that you have a closing statement.
Which is 1 minute.
Which is 1.
Okay, we're good on the 1 minute closing statement.
Wasting time.
Okay. Oh. Okay. The following rules apply to all questions. Only written questions will be accepted, and they must be in the form of a question and not a statement. Questions may be directed to one candidate, but all candidates will be given an opportunity to answer all questions. If there are several questions on a similar issue, they may be grouped together by the question sorters. Keep this in mind when you are listening for your question to be asked. As the evening proceeds, if you feel your question has been misinterpreted, please submit another one. Waving it like that. Due to time limitations, not every question may be asked. Questions must deal with the issues of this election. No personal references or attacks will be allowed. All written questions, asked or unasked, remain the property of the League of Women Voters Pasadena area. They are never distributed to the press or other third parties. The timekeeper will keep the candidates informed of the time remaining and will raise the yellow card, showing a 30-second warning, and a red card when the time has elapsed. Once the time is up, candidates must conclude their statement as quickly as possible. And I heard in one of these, I heard the moderator goes, if you don't stop.
You get to finish your sentence.
Just the sentence. Please keep an eye on the timekeeper. Again, each candidate will have 1 minute to answer each question and will be tracked by the timekeeper. There will be no rebuttals. At approximately 8:15, the question period will end and candidates' closing statements will begin. Each candidate will have 1 minute and they will speak in the reverse order from the opening statements. Remarks will conclude at that time, and there will be no opportunity for rebuttal. We request that everyone turn off their cell phones or put them on vibrate to show respect for the candidates and the other audience members. Okay, everybody doing it? I don't see everybody doing it. Are there any questions? Any questions? Okay. If not, we're going to begin with the opening statements, which will be the quick-paced ones. The first candidate to speak will be Rosa Holguin, Ms. Holguin.
Thank you. Nelson Mandela said, "Education is the most
powerful weapon you can use to change the world. I believe that. That is why I'm here, to help educate our students to change the world. Good evening. I am Rosa Hogin, and I am candidate for DUSD Board of Education District 4, Beardsley.
Could you speak closer to the mic?
Sure. When I retired from the U.S. Postal Service after 37 years, I knew that education of our young people was going to be our hope for the future. We have a good public school system with many options for our students to be educated with. We have a school board that works well together with the superintendent, staff, and community, and in turn, our students are benefiting. I want to be part of that team. After being a resident of Duarte for over 30 years, I have been an active volunteer in our community. I am a member of CERT, Community Emergency Response Team. I am also a longtime member of the Duarte Rotary Club. I am also the education specialist for the Duarte Education Foundation, raising money for our schools. I have seen the quality of our students that our parents and teachers have turned out over the years. They are engineers, doctors, entrepreneurs, researchers, lawyers, and many others that we can all be proud of and say we helped prepare them for their future. Good job, Duarte Unified. I want to be part of that leadership team that will add value to our lives, the lives of our students. Thank you for attending this forum. Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker will be Mr. Preston.
Good evening. Thank you. My name is Elton. My name is Elton Preston. I'm running for school district number 4. I'm running for the Duarte School District number 4 to make change, to bring change for our students in Duarte, to make sure that they have a quality education, make sure the teachers are qualified and hire quality teachers, for accountability, and fiscal responsibility.
Thank you. Okay, the next speaker will be Mrs. Reina Diaz from District 5.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Reina Diaz, and I am running for re-election in District 5. It has been my honor and privilege to serve the Duarte Unified School District community as a board member for the past 25 years. My highest priority remains having safe schools for our students that provide them with enriching life educational experiences to prepare them for a successful future. Those preparations have partially come by continual advancements in our partnership with local organizations and secondary institutions. Another priority is an increase in employee compensations and the community support through the passage of bond measures. For many years, I have also had the pleasure to contribute to our community through my service with Kiwanis, Foothill Unity Center, Meals on Wheels, and Annunciation Church. My heart is in this community, and I am committed to giving back by helping every Duarte child and family to flourish. Together, let's build our successes with focused commitment to having exceptional programs, exceptional services, exceptional staff. I thank you for your many years of support and trust. You know I will always advocate for moving us forward on a continual path of excellence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker will be Mrs. Betty Sanchez, District 5.
Good evening. My name is Betty Sanchez, and I'm running for Duarte Unified School Board Trustee Area 5. I've been a resident of Duarte for 60 years. I went through Duarte schools and graduated from Duarte High School. I earned an Associate of Arts degree at Citrus College, a Bachelor of Arts degree in Business Administration at the University of Phoenix. When my children attended Duarte schools, I was on the school site council. I volunteered where needed. I joined the PTA. My grandchildren are currently attending Duarte schools where I continue to volunteer. I am retired from Duarte Unified School District. I've worked for 33 years in the public school setting where I had various classified and confidential positions. I served on the Classified Association Executive Board as a union steward, vice president, and later as president, and I sat on the Community Education Council. Over the years, I attended various trainings and conferences regarding budget, benefits, contract negotiations, and leadership. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker will be Mr. Ken Bell, and he is an at-large person.
Well, good evening. Good evening, every one of you, for being here. I feel honored to be able to be in the position to serve. I'm just going to list some of the areas I've distinguished myself, I believe, from the other competition that I have. I'm not about talk and dream concepts. For the past 33 years, I have committed myself to be in touch and provided successful leadership as a school board member. Along with my 33 years of experience as a school board member, I've had over 10 years experience as a teacher in a class called Student in the Law. I taught 7 years at Washington High School in Los Angeles, 13 years at Losing High School in Hawthorne. I've been a staff member at Golden West College, teaching officers and cadets for over 8 years. So I have a confidence in teaching. I have considerable teaching and training experience in the classroom. There have been 8 previous superintendents prior to Dr. Amundson who have served as the leader of Duarte Unified School District. I know leadership is, and I know when it's not there. I am frequently consulted at times when things need to change at the top. Of consultants come and ask me about leadership for future assignments for administrators, and I feel proud because of my experience and background. I feel I'm an important part of our school board with much knowledge, very collaborative leader in our school board decision-making process, which I'm very proud of. My type of experience does matter. Lastly, I just remember I'm a board member who had 5 children who have been educated in our fine teaching staff that we have at Duarte Unified. They have done well in life because of the education they have received. My heart is always here. I'm dedicated to being the best school board member at Duarte Unified School District. Here's my bullet points. I'm an experienced board member. I'm a collaborative leader. I'm a K-12 educator. I'm a K-12 and college educator. I'm a U.S. military veteran. I'm a safety and law enforcement expert. I'm a respected national consultant. I'm a proud parent of 5 DUSD graduates, and we had just had the honor of giving our staff improved compensation and benefits for teachers and staff. Again, it's a proud honor for me to run for this position. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. The next speaker will be an at-large candidate, Mr. Tom Reyes.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Tom Reyes.
Will you get the microphone?
Oh. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Tom Reyes. Currently, Duarte Unified School District is in a state of crisis. So far, 2 schools have been closed with a 3rd in the works. Our enrollment and test scores are at an all-time low. We need to immediately change the direction of our school district to prevent more loss. I served this district in the past and bring with me the experience to hit the ground running if elected. In 2016, the school board adopted a Read by 3rd grade initiative. They have yet to ensure its proper implementation. Why is the board spending millions of bond money building a new gym when only 25% of our children are reading at grade level? Shouldn't we be spending our money in the classroom on support and resources to help our students achieve? The CS Arts Charter School was supposed to be a great partnership. It was supposed to provide us millions of dollars in revenue. Instead, it has brought increasing debt and division to our district. Duarte students need to come first. Unfortunately, our current school board is not making this happen. Duarte students deserve the best, along with the teachers and staff. They are my top priority. We need a trades program at our high school. We must prepare our students for a career as soon as they graduate. Not everyone is college bound. With the trades program, we can attract students from all over San Gabriel Valley. More students equal more revenue, which will result in more options for our students. I will ensure that our students are prepared for college or career, that our campuses are safe and secure, that the board is transparent, accountable, and fiscally responsible. Parent involvement needs to be a priority.
Mr. Reyes.
This is doable with the right school board.
Mr.
Together
Reyes.
we can give our students what they deserve, a great education. Excuse me, he had 2.5 minutes. I'm under 2 minutes right here. You said we could have 2 minutes.
You know what? I was relying on the League of Women Voters woman, and perhaps she was incorrect. I'm sorry.
She had put it up for also Mr. Bell, but he just kept talking.
Oh, and Mr. Bell, and I didn't see that Mr. Bell kept talking. Sorry. My bad. I'm going to keep going like this all the time now. Make sure I see. Okay? So the first question, some students today sent in questions. And they said that they wanted to watch, so I hope it's being streamed on YouTube, so I hope that they're watching. One of the questions is, they're very nice questions. What do you consider your biggest success in working with our schools up to this point? And we're going to start with Mr. Alton Preston.
My biggest success working with the students in this district for 20 years. I was security at the Duarte High School, middle school, and Royal Oaks. And I've seen 20 years all of the disruptions, the corruption, the discipline. There is no discipline. Students are promoted without learning, and that is not good for the students of Duarte, because once they graduate, they wouldn't know anything. And with our students, 30% at a third grade level, it shouldn't be that way. We need to have quality teachers so we can prepare our students for the outside. Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker will be Ms. Reina Diaz. Mrs.
Would you please repeat the question again?
What do you consider your biggest success in working with our schools up to this point?
My biggest success in all these 25 years of service has been to see kids coming up with no hope, and they graduate and be able to handle their high school diploma. To see many, many kids going to Citrus College with 4 years of early college preparation. To see kids graduate from our district at the level of any university. They have received scholarships to UCLA, USC, and many names of universities that are amazing to be able to see our kids returning to our community and show that they have achieved what they deserve. That's my major accomplishment. I really love this community. I believe in the students of Duarte Unified School District. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Betty Sanchez, would you answer that question, please?
Yes, I feel that my best success is that I have volunteered from preschool on up, and seeing these little kids, whether it's reading to them or going on field trips with them, they remember you the next time you work in the classroom, and they know who you are. And I think that it influences them since they're very young. And I think even now when I see students that are in high school that I have seen, again, in the preschools or the elementary schools, they say, I remember when we did things. I remember when we went places. And I remember when you read to us. And that makes me feel really good. So I think that that's one of my biggest accomplishments, is working in the classrooms with those kids. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kendall.
Yes. Let me just say this. You know, many times you hear comments about the students or the education process is not happening. And it really kind of bothers me, because I know some teachers and staff members who work very, very hard, and I'm very proud to be associated with them. I've just provided you with some of my past accomplishments without being stuck in the past. I'm going to tell you that the real-time educational solutions are happening at Duarte Unified School District. And sometimes people get stuck on those old statements made, and those aren't anything past the truth. We have some very, very successful young people who come out. And again, I have 5 who've come out, and they've all done well in society. And I've had them there for many, many years. and they've done well because of the education they've received at Duarte. I would not serve as a board member if I knew I was there and the kind of information that was passed on here wasn't happening. I couldn't live with myself. We have an excellent, excellent educational staff and educational program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tom Reyes?
Well, let me say, I used to be in youth ministry and detention ministry, and I worked with youth in this community as well as Monrovia over the years. I've been volunteering and involved with youth for something like 40 years. I started, after high school, 19 years old. What surprises me and I end up getting out of it is to see a teenager come up to me now as a young adult with family and thank me for being there for them, for supporting them, for being their mentor. Some of these kids were on drugs, some of them were in gangs, and it fills my heart when I see them succeeding. They own homes, they have great jobs, great careers, and that's what it's all about. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rosa Holguin?
Thank you. Being a new candidate, I have not had the opportunity to work with students at the school level, but being part of Rotary and the Duarte Education Fund, I have assisted with raising money to help our schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next question is, what are your top priorities for the district and how do you plan to achieve them? Mrs. Reyna Diaz.
My top priority is every single school. It is for every child who deserves quality of education, no matter what color, what race, what languages they speak, but to receive a quality of education. Maxwell, dual authorized international baccalaureate. Bursley, dual immersion instruction. Valley View, innovation and creative learning model expansion will now include coding. Royal Oaks, STEAM Academy, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. DHS, welding, working culinary, videography, and all the subjects there are for university. MIT, innovation and technology. Those are my top priority, and that's what we have to offer to accomplish those priorities. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Betty Sanchez?
Well, some of my top priorities, just to list a few, would be looking at how we can increase student attendance, enhance electives like career tech and early intervention programs. I'd like to attract and retain high-quality educators and support staff. I also like to prioritize mental health and wellness services. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Campbell?
Yes, very interesting that question came up. We got partnerships. Let me just give you a little bit of background. People don't, maybe because it's not publicized enough. Citrus College, an early college program, high school, we have young people that leave early and go and get their education through our programs. We have CS Arts, San Gabriel Valley. It's one of the top schools in the nation. CS Arts, the partnership we have with Duarte Unified and CS Arts. Matter of fact, I have some stats because I was just looking at that knowing it would probably come up. Do you know that if people talking about the money, the amount of money from the partnership based on the fact that we've had young people that come here, their parents bring them here for the arts, and they also have young people that come here to go to our other schools, and it's increased our attendance, and the most important part is that it gives the young people a chance to education from a whole nother level. So again, I feel very, very good about the direction we're going, and it's only going to get better. And so I feel very proud that we've had the type of partnerships we've had. Matter of fact, I believe we've made over $9 million profit from the partnership for CSRs, and people talk about it. Thank you. I see the time.
There, you did a good job. Mr. Tom Reyes?
Yes, thank you. Yes, my priority would be to have a forensic audit done, because I want to know exactly how much money we're working with. People tell me we have more than 3%. When I was on the board and I left it in 2020, we didn't even have 3%. We were struggling. Now all of a sudden, I'm hearing rumors we have 10, 11%. Okay, we were given a lot of money from the COVID relief that was supposed to go to hire teachers, to hire staff, to hire aides. We didn't need to close Andrus Duarte. We could have kept it open, kept the schools smaller, the class size smaller. It would have worked. It could still work. Okay, they're talking, they have all this money. I've never saw it when I was on the board. I never saw it. Excuse me.
Nope.
I'm talking, sir. It's important that we know exactly where every dollar is and where every penny is spent. Thank you.
Ms. Rosa Holguin?
My top priorities for the district are, we need to get our kids back to basics. We need some after-school enrichment programs. We need to work together with teachers and union to increase their standard of living, and also preparing our children for college or trade school. I'm a firm believer we need to get our kids, I always say, don't let the career choose you, you choose the career. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Alton Preston?
Thank you. My top priorities for the school would be to bring in quality teachers, quality education for our students, stop the wasteful spending, and pay our teachers and staff so we can keep them in order to educate our students. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question would be for Mrs. Betty Sanchez. The question is, how will you help raise money for our schools?
That is a very good question. I think that various school sites, they do their fundraising every quarter, or some of them do it monthly. I think letting them continue fundraising would be good, but maybe if we have partnerships with maybe some of the businesses in our community and saying, can you support one of the schools, can you help them out, whether it's pencils, paper, art supplies, something like that. We can always approach those businesses. Most of the time they're happy to help, so that's probably what I would like to do.
Thank you. Mr. Ken Bell?
Repeat the question again.
How will you help raise money for our schools?
Well, we just gave, I believe, a well-deserved raise to our staff based on the fact that this board, the board that I serve on, saw to it that we made some certain cuts, but we made adjustments to make sure that the teachers did get a raise. Again, wasn't a huge raise, but it was a raise that kept us moving and going, and it was something we know that we have to be able to give this kind of raises and salaries to our fabulous staff that we have. So I feel very good that we were able to do that with the unions. We ended up making the agreements to do that. So it was something that needed to be done.
Mr. Tom Reyes?
How would I help raise money? There's many ways to do that besides fundraising. You could also do grant writing. There's a lot of grants out there that we could apply for, and we used to do it, and I don't know why we stopped when I was on the board. We had hired a person that was full-time, and we should have kept them, because there's times, that it could be tough to keep a program. But grant writing is probably one of the best ways that you can you can raise money for your schools or your district. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rosa Holguin?
I'm sorry. Forget I need this. I'm going to say we need to do some fundraising, partnership with our city, our local businesses, and we'd have to see what resources we have, what grants we get. I'm really not sure exactly what we would have to do, but I know we would come up with something.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Alton Preston?
Thank you. Several ways that I would raise money for the schools. Again, fundraise, get support from the businesses in Duarte, parent involvement, and grants.
Thank you. Mrs. Reina Diaz?
Yes, I think that something that we can do as soon as we can is first join the PTA, the PFA, support them, not just monetarily, but any way we can. We can ask to the business to get partnerships with schools, but support our PTAs, PFAs, that's very important. Besides that, I think that we have a great resort, which is the Ed Foundation. Duarte Ed Foundation support our schools. This year we were able to give, the Ed Foundation was able to give $500 to each school for the science camp. So I think that we have an amazing resource among our community, and also we can ask the parents to get involved. Thank you.
Thank you. The fourth question, there's two of them, but I'm going to put them together, is how can the school board address parents' concerns over school safety and security? And the second part is, what training is available or required for teachers, security guards, and police? The first person to respond will be Mr. Ken Bell.
What was I just didn't understand the last part about what requirements.
What training is available or required for teachers, security guards, and police? And that's about safety and security.
Well, being that I spent 33 years as a policeman, worked in some of the toughest places in Los Angeles, and I spent a great deal of time in classroom and working. I worked juvenile street gangs throughout Los Angeles. I don't want my teachers to be the ones who are out there dealing with kids with guns and that kind of stuff. We have a security staff, but I don't think our school is in that position where we're worried about that kind of violence on our campuses. I think that maybe that's a question that maybe something from the past, but I feel very secure about the way we are functioning as a school district. But if in fact something like that was to come up, I have no problem being part of a safety group of staff members to train and do certain things. As a matter of fact, we've had we're doing a safety walk next week, going through our schools, how we would do things if something happened. We have different situations now that have changed, but I think that question was kind of like the past. We don't have that kind of a problem on our school campuses.
Thank you. Mr. Tom Reyes?
Repeat the first part, please.
It says, how can the school board address parents' concerns over school safety and security? And then what kind of training are you doing?
Well, first of all, they should sit down with them on a regular basis, have some town hall meetings with the parents, or create an environment like barbecues, things like that, so they can talk to them in a more relaxed atmosphere, and let them know exactly what's going on, what type of security we have, what kind of safety measures we have. But as far as training, I don't believe there's not enough of it. We need more of it. As far as security, we need more security. We don't have enough of that as well. We're having proctors take care of 7th and 8th graders, which are mostly mothers. And, you know, those kids can be pretty big and pretty tough and rough, and it's hard for them to handle those guys if they get in a fight. You know, we need more young men out there, and one of the problems is our pay. Our pay is too low for security. So if we can maybe kick that up, we'd probably be in better shape. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rosa Holguin?
I was just reading something which is very interesting, LA Times regarding safety or the safest cities, neighborhoods in LA County. And I was very impressed that Duarte was on the list. Actually, it was in the top 5. I'm going to read them real quick. I know I only have a minute. La Cañada had a B, San Marino, a B, Sierra Madre, B+, and Bradbury, B-, and Duarte right behind Bradbury with a B-. So I'm really proud to, I know we have our issues in the city, the schools, but I think everybody does, but I think we're doing pretty darn good. What would we do? I'm part of CERT, and so I work with public safety, and I know that Brian Villalobos and Art Valenzuela are very, very aware of the issues that could happen at the school, the training, and obviously we need to train everybody. Everybody needs to know, in case of an emergency, what you need to do. I'm sorry, I'm starting to think too much. Anyways, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Alton Preston?
Thank you. The safety is very concerning to me because I worked for the school for 20 years. And I saw firsthand what can happen on the campuses. Number one, there's at Duarte High School, in our district, we have only 3 security personnel in the district total. And at the beginning of every year, they have a seminar at the beginning of the school to meet to discuss that. We cannot do that. In 2004, every security personnel for a school district or a junior college had to attend the state-required security guards K through 12 districts and California community college districts to complete a training course. And Duarte has been hiring security without training. And these ladies would not know what to do if someone off the street with guns or these gang members come on the campus. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Reina Diaz?
Thank you. Mr. Bells mentioned something about safety walks. That is something that the board needs to do. The board must do a safety walk to know exactly what is happening in our schools. And I will tell you, parents' concerns about safety are a big responsibility for me. When I don't have the answers, I go to the superintendent and I ask him, what are we doing regarding the safety of our schools, about different issues. But I make sure that I respond to every single parent to come and look for answer. I will not leave any parent thinking that we don't care about their kids' safety in our school district. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tom Reyes, you'll be the first speaker. Test scores have declined in the last couple of years, especially in math. What will you do as a school board member to turn that around?
Thank you. I would make sure that we reduce our class size, okay, that our kids get the aids that they need, which is not happening right now. There's a lot of one-on-one that needs to take place right now to get our kids caught up. We were given a ton of money, okay, over $17 million, maybe over $20 million, and it hasn't been spent in the classroom. It has not spent to break down these class sizes. There's too many students for one teacher. The poor kids can't catch up. I had a teacher call me the other night, 9th grade. I'm not going to say the class, but his kids couldn't read. His kids couldn't solve the problems because they couldn't read. His kids couldn't solve problems because they couldn't do the math. Our children need help. This is a crisis situation. It's not a joke. They need help. And we're not, they're sitting on all this money, hoarding it, and not investing it in our children.
Thank you. Ms. Rosa Holguin.
I did see that the test scores have declined, and I believe it's going on all the other schools as well. And I think part of it had to do with the COVID. But what can we do? We need more tutoring, one-on-one. There are resources that the kids, if they're in need of help, they can ask. I know Opportunities for Learning is helping a lot. It has a partnership with DUSD, and they're assisting a lot of the kids. So the help is out there. They need to ask, and we need to ask the kids. And some of the kids may be embarrassed. They don't want to ask for help, but we need to encourage them, motivate them, and we need to assist them. And they are behind, a lot of them, not all of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Alton Preston.
Thank you. Yes, the test scores have dropped, but everyone want to blame this on the COVID. Yes, the COVID was a setback for all students all across the United States. But our test scores for our students has dropped before the COVID. And we do need to provide the resources to get back up, to get our students back on track, to get them educated where they can learn math and reading. Those things have evaded our district. We need to get back to the basics. Quality teachers, we need to have. We need to pay the teachers. This is why we can't keep them. This is why we can't keep staff. They need to get paid for the work that they do. And we have excellent teachers and we have excellent staff, and they deserve to get paid to help our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Reina Diaz.
Thank you. How can we help to improve the math scores? I just did a couple of learning walk in few of the schools. And I was amazed to see how the kids from kindergarten to 8th grade were doing in math. It was unbelievable that quality of teaching that is going on in our schools. What we need to do is to implement rigorous classes at very low year schools, like kindergarten, preschool, and I see that we are doing that. We are on the way. We are on the right path to do it. That we need to improve a lot? Yes, we do. But we're not gonna help the students, tell them that they are not doing good. I think that we have to believe in that they can do it, and we are here to support them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Betty Sanchez.
Well, I would say based on low test scores, we probably need to have additional support staff that can help those students that are not comprehending. I would also say offer more resources for help, whether it's after school, during lunch, however that can work out so, of course, kids aren't missing out on eating their lunch. And then probably a review of the math curriculum, see if it really is up to that grade level standard. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ken Bell.
Yes, I think sometimes those kind of statements or statements that are made during election time or things where someone wants to make something look bad just because it sounds like it's a good point to kind of work on. No doubt about it that the COVID had a major effect with all of our students, not just Duarte, everywhere. And so it's important we have to understand that it makes it sound as if our administration or our teachers don't care. There's not a teacher that I could think of in our school district that would just automatically feel like they're not going to teach kids because they're not making enough money. If that was the case, there'd be a lot of teachers who wouldn't do anything. Our teachers are dedicated to do what they need to do. And again, I was very, very proud that between the union and our administrative staff with the support of the board, that we were able to eke out a little bit of money to give them. But we can't blame all this stuff. We've had a lot of different things happen. The most important part, I can see an upswing. I can see things that's going to be a lot better. And again, it's important for us not to continue to talk about the negativity when there's a lot of positive stuff that's going on. So thank you very much.
Thank you. The next question will be for Ms. Rosa Holguin. The question is, describe how the roles and responsibility of the school board and the superintendent differ. What is the ideal relationship between these two?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. Describe how the roles and responsibility of the school board and the superintendent differ. What is the ideal relationship between these two?
I believe that the board oversees the operations of the superintendent or the school district. I'm not certain.
Okay. Mr. Alton Preston?
The role of the board should be to supervise the superintendent. And the superintendent's role is to go out and do all the administrative work as far as making sure the curriculum for education has been met, and the both get together and discuss how to make things better for the district.
Thank you. Ms. Reina Diaz?
Yes, this time I will echo the words that I just hear. The board is elected by the community, and the superintendent is selected by the board. We need to supervise everything that he does, and we must be informed of what the right things are be done with the staff, with all our staff and with our students, curriculum-wise, but he also have a group of people that are very important in this team, and that's the assistant superintendents. And they are responsible to oversee every single school, and we must be informed to approve or disapprove the items to come to us in open sessions in our board meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Betty Sanchez?
Yes, my understanding is that the school board oversees the superintendent. The superintendent is to carry out instructions by the school board. So if there's something they want to know more information on, he's to make sure he collects that information and brings it back to the board. And I also believe that there's a collaborative relationship between the superintendent and the school board, or it won't function.
Mr. Bell, thank you. Mr. Bell?
It's been spoken very well by the other candidates here. And I think the most important part is that the superintendent, our job is to select the right kind of superintendent, and I believe we have a very good one. But he, and I would say she, because we've had both, they give the information to us and for our approval to move forward with it. And again, it's important that we have this partnership, this team of educators, and then he or she would go out and deal with the administrators that deal with the teachers and the principals on the school campus of each one of our campuses. So it's a team effort. And so it's the most important part is that we all get along from the standpoint that he has a responsibility, the board has a responsibility, and the administrators that take the orders from all of us to go out to the teachers, and that's what makes the team.
Thank you. Mr. Tom Reyes?
Yes. Well, he's the board's one employee. He's the only person that the board hires. The superintendent is the one employee of the board. And he's to follow direction that the board gives him, okay? And also, the board creates policy, which he's supposed to make sure happens. We're supposed to oversee that him ensuring that the curriculum, we approve curriculum, it comes from the state and it goes through the process. And we're to ensure that he follows through with whatever that we ask him to do. Hopefully that happens. If not, you evaluate them once a year, and if you're not happy with them, you let them know, and have him make adjustments or improvements. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question will be started by Mr. Alton Preston, and the question is, what programs would you like to implement in Duarte in order to attract and retain students and to improve daily attendance?
Thank you for the question. Programs that I would like to implement into the school, number one, we need to have sports. Our sports program brings students. It brings money. I would like to see our welding shop back. I would like to see our auto mechanic shop back. I would like to see home economics. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know I would like these to happen, but it has to be a collaborative decision with the board. But I would love to convince the board to bring these programs back. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Reina Diaz?
Thank you. It is easy to say what programs I would like to have in our district, but it's up to the students to decide what they want to do. And many times we offer good, excellent programs, and there is very low assistance for that. So I will say that we are doing as best as we can at this point, but we can improve. We can improve, and we can keep offering, like I said before, dual authorized baccalaureate based in their own curriculum. Firstly, dual language immersion instruction, innovation and creative learning model expansion, which now include coding, and science, technology, engineering, arts, math, welding, woodwork, culinary, and videography. And at MIT, the innovation technology. I think that we do offer excellent programs, and we can improve more. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Betty Sanchez?
Yes, I've given this some thought before. I feel that since most of the students won't be going to college because of concerns in the household, or like not having money, or parents want these kids to work right out of high school, I feel that if we brought some of the trades or skills classes back into high school would be wonderful, such as the welding, the auto shop, metal shop, maybe tiling, or those kinds of things to go along with what's existing there, such as the culinary school and the wood shop. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ken Bell?
As it is, we focus a little bit more on our partnerships, and we have Citrus College. We got an early college program. Kids can go to college early, straight out of Duarte Unified School District. The California School of the Arts, developed by Destination District designation. We get some wonderful examples of young people that are able to go to the California School of the Arts and have been very successful. We have the City of Hope. One of the gentlemen that sit on our school board, Dr. Finley, was one of our students at Duarte High School, and he is now a doctor at City of Hope. So I'm saying it's there for the kids who want them. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, but the academic achievement, as far as our Duarte Unified School District, I believe it's in good stead. The most important part, we just have to make young people aware of the progress and things that they need to take and be able to show them or explain to them what it is that will help them in their future life. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tom Reyes?
Yes, thank you. When I was on the board, when we were discussing bringing in CS Arts, you know, I wanted to bring in the trades and turn Northview into a trade school, and I was laughed at. CS Arts was supposed to do great things for us. Unfortunately, it has not. It's been 5 to 6 years. Any business plan, 3 to 5 years. If you're not making money, okay, time to change it and look for something else. I really truly believe if we bring trades to the high school, we will pull in a lot of students from San Gabriel Valley. They will want to come here, but it's got to be a full-blown program, not things that happen only on weekends for a couple hours. It won't work that way. We have to have full classes that are all day so that these kids can walk away and know that they can go out after they graduate and make money in the real world. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rosa Hoagie?
The question was, I'm sorry. On what programs will we implement? We do have some great programs, and as they were saying, we have AP classes, early college program, the Citrus College Partnership, which allows students and their parents to save on 2 years of college. Also, you know, we're getting a new gym. I think that's going to motivate a lot of our kids. You know, they take pride when they go to schools and they see these great gyms, and, you know, Duarte's isn't as nice as some of the others. I think the kids they're going to be extra motivated. And then the tennis courts, they're being revamped. They have lights. I mean, I think we have some good stuff. We need to just motivate our kids, get our parents involved, and the community. I mean, it takes a village. So, thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next question is, how can the board support immigrant and refugee families and their communities? And the first speaker will be Mrs. Reina Diaz.
How can we help them? Well, I think that there is a wonderful horizon for many people that can come to this country and be a real citizen of this country. I am a real immigrant. I came here when I was 18 years old, and I came by myself with no documents, and I walked from El Salvador to California. I educate my kids. I help in my community. Many, many people have been able to educate their kids in our school with or without documents, and now they are residents and professionals. We can help people. We can help them when they really want to accomplish what is the real dream of coming to the promised land. It is to be successful and help each other, and that's what we do. And I am very proud to serve on this board and to say, I haven't get any diplomas, but I have been able to help hundreds of students to accomplish their dream and have their high school diplomas.
Thank you. Mrs. Betty Sanchez.
Okay. A few things that I know is that all kids are guaranteed a free education regardless of immigration status, and I do know that we are doing that in our school district. We also offer what's called free and reduced lunches. So there's criteria that they would qualify for that, and again, immigration status does not come involved in that. And we do have English language learner classes, so that will help support them if they're speaking Spanish, Chinese, whatever. We do have classes for them so that they can acclimate to the English language. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kenville?
Pretty much the same thing. I think Raina probably summed it up better than anybody else. And again, one of the things that I've always admired about Raina, she's always been open and honest about where she came from, how she got here. And she has really been a spark for our school board to talk about someone who has come from another country, another land, another language, and been able to immerse herself into our school district. And she's a prime example. Again, opportunities are there for those who want to have it, and they will be able to succeed and as far as getting help, no problem whatsoever. So again, you think about it, people talk about the California School of the Arts. That's another one. There's kids who come here to maybe the School of the Arts, but their little brothers or sisters will come here to go to our schools because of the partnership that we have as a school district. So again, there's a lot of different things that we can do to immerse young people to come into our families in our community. And I think we could do a good job and have done a good job.
Thank you. Mr. Tom Reyes?
Yes, I agree with Mrs. Diaz and Mrs. Sanchez. We do take care of the kids if we do have any immigrants that come in. We've had quite a few over the years, and the classes are there to help them and help them catch up if they have fallen behind. Actually, some of them do really well. I mean, they blow us away in math scores, sky high. They blow some of our kids that are raised here and born here. And so, you know, we give them the opportunity, they're given the opportunity to succeed, which is very important. And then there's also the DACA program. I don't know if it's going to continue on, but that was a that is a road to citizenship for them, you know, and they go on to college through, once they leave high school, they can go on through college and maybe have a career. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rosa Holguin?
Thank you. Well, all children are guaranteed education in the United States. I'm aware that we have ESL courses we provide them for our children. Beardsley School has a dual immersion program. So I believe we do a very good job with our immigrant children. I've seen the teachers working with them, the special classes. I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of the class, but I have gone to a couple of them. I've been to all the schools except for Maxwell, so I've seen the programs, and I'm quite impressed. And the kids seem to adapt quickly. Thank you so much.
Mr. Alton Preston?
Thank you. Number one, I believe, first and foremost, everyone is a human being, and everyone should be treated with dignity. It doesn't matter where you come from. You should be treated equally, and every student should get the same education that others. Because we got to remember, immigrants are the ones that build the United States of America. And they should not be treated any different than anybody else, and they deserve the same education that anybody else can get. And I'm very passionate about helping people. When it comes to people, if you want to tick me off, you mess with people. And they deserve the same education and other qualities in this United States as I do and everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question will be for Mrs. Betty Sanchez. First is, how is civics education taught in the school curriculum? Is there a plan? What guidance can the board expect to give on this?
You say civics education?
Civics.
Okay. I do know that state law does dictate what kind of courses we teach to our students. I would actually have to refer to what that particular guideline is as far as the board and its instructions, but I do know that the board does take a really careful look at everything that the state is saying we need to teach our children. They ask a lot of questions regarding that, so I would follow suit with that. If I were to be on the board, I would absolutely ask questions. But again, you know, we train our teachers in how to teach some of those courses. So I would just say a lot of it's governed by what California says that we have to do.
Mr. Ken Bell?
And I would say likewise what she's saying. It's really almost similar to what Mr. Preston said. We have to treat everybody the same. We have to treat everybody the same. And there's no way for us to start, as a board member and as a staff member, everybody should have equal opportunities to have the best education they can have at Duarte Unified School District. And as a board member, if I heard, or the board member that I serve on, you're not going to just treat somebody different because they come from some other areas or they live from in a different environment. So for me, it's almost something that's not even part of my thought process to treat people bad because of who they are and where they have come from. So I believe, like the other statements have said, everyone deserves just treatment.
Mr. Tom Reyes?
Please repeat the question.
Yes, I was just looking for it because I think it got lost. The question is about civics education. It says, how is civics education taught in the school curriculum? Is there a plan? What guidance can the board expect to give on this?
I'm not on the board right now, so I'm honestly going to say I don't know. My children who took civics, I have 3 that went through Duarte High School. They all graduated in 2006, 2012, and 2018. They weren't happy with their civics teacher. I do know that. So I would have to wait till I get on the board to be able to give a solid answer on something like that. Sorry.
Thank you. Ms. Rosa Holguin?
Sorry, as well, I would have to educate myself on the subject. I'm not aware, I'm not on the board of how it's taught, but I would have to find out once I get elected. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Alton Preston?
I agree with the rest of the panel. I will support what is taught in civics. I will work with the rest of the board and the administration and follow the state laws to make sure that it is taught correctly and our students can be educated in civics. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Reina Diaz?
Thank you. For quite some times, I had some parents calling me and say, my son is unhappy with the civic teacher. He gave us just information and we have to look into the computer. And he said that he's preparing us to be ready for college. And he also says civic is something that you have to be ready to prepare yourself to vote, to let your voice heard, and respect other people. And so this teacher teach also my grandson, and his name is Mr. Kenny. And my grandson came up with the same disagreement that he was not teaching well, and he was one of the best teachers. He does. He teaches civics, and he does so well to show to respect other ones and to see what other quality of education he can give to our students.
I think everyone's answered that question as best they could. It's 8:12. It says here I'm supposed to stop at 8:15. So thank you very much for taking the time to be part of this forum. A goal of the League of Women Voters is to promote an informed and involved electorate. We hope this event has helped you to be better informed about your choices for the Duarte School Board. Now it's your turn to be involved and vote. Please make democracy work by casting your ballot by mail or at the vote center. Also, please urge your friends and family to do the same. I didn't let them close. Oh, my Lord. I heard this little mumbling, and I thought, I wonder if it's going to come to something.
But we are prepared. We are prepared.
For your 1 minute.
For my 1 minute.
We're not going to make it 30 seconds, so
No,
we'll get time.
that's okay.
Got it. Okay.
1 minute.
Thank you very much. So we're going to go in reverse order. So Mr. Tom Reyes first.
Thank you. My old eyes. Our students need us. They need us to do the right thing. They need us to change the direction of the school board. They need us to vote out the veteran board members and vote in new board members who care, who genuinely want to see our students succeed. A new board that is sincere, honest, trustworthy, transparent, accountable, accessible, and fiscally responsible with our taxpayer dollars. Our Duarte students deserve to be our #1 priority, treated with dignity and respect. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ken Bell.
Well, Mr. Reyes just described me, so I'm good with that part. And I do appreciate him giving that direction. I'm just going to end with this. I have just provided you with many of my past accomplishments, and without being stuck in the past, I will continue to provide real-time educational solutions that will ensure that our children are prepared and ready to compete in this ever-evolving world that awaits them. And again, as a board member, I'm honored to have served the time I have and have loved doing the job working with this community, my 5 children, and this wonderful Duarte Unified School District. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Betty Sanchez.
Well, I want to say that Duarte students are my concern, and they're in my heart. My children went to school in Duarte. I went to school in Duarte. My grandchildren are currently going to school there. So I feel that it's even in our blood. I didn't move too far away from the house I grew up in. I just went across the street. I do feel that I listen very well. I can help problem solve. My main thing is that listening to students, the community, and the staff of Duarte Unified are very important when you have to make the tough decisions that would need to be made when it's coming to affect them. So I also want to remind you to get out there and vote on November 8th. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Reina Diaz.
I have told you that I have a desire to serve this community. I have done so. Well before I was elected to the school board, I was on the Madtown Council prior to my tenure as a DUSD board trustee. My many years of service and commitment to Duarte speak for itself. My desire is to continue serving the Duarte community in whatever way I can. I know that working together, we can continue the success of Duarte Unified School District. Please vote for me on November 8th for District Governing Board Member for Duarte Unified School District, Trustee Area 5. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you. Mr. Alton Preston.
Thank you. I am passionate for the community of Duarte and the students of Duarte School District. I work in the district for over 20 years. I do community service in this community. I enjoy having ex-students and students now that attend the school come to me sharing their thoughts and their problems with me. It was a pleasure for me to work with all the students and staff at Duarte High School. And if I become a school board member, I look diligently in working with all the students, with the teachers and the staff, administrators and board members of this great community. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Rosa Holguin.
Thank you. Well, my goals are, I want to motivate our children, our community, and our parents we need some after-school programs. We want our kids to be busy in the afternoon. You know, some after-school enrichment activities would be great. I want to encourage that. We don't want our kids having free time, getting in trouble. We want them to be in class. We want them at the art center, maybe dancing or singing. They do have some great classes there for our 7th and 8th graders. And increase communication between the school district and the parents. Sometimes the parents feel like they're not getting all the information they need. I don't know if the kids just aren't telling mom and dad, or mom and dad just have too many emails and don't have time to read them all, but we need a little better communication at the high school level. Thank you very much. Don't forget to vote on November 8th. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I did it now.
Yeah, 10
I'm-
minutes.
I did. Oh, don't. I have a little closing thing for you. There's a wonderful piece of paper back there, if any of you have it. It says, "Remember to vote, Tuesday, November 8th, 2020," and it has lots of wonderful information. I also just wanted to point out that every registered voter in LA County has received their mail-in ballot and their sample ballots by now. Vote centers open October 29th, which is Saturday. Yeah. Through November 7th. They're open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Election Day, November 8th, vote centers are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. See your ballot for all the details. So on this piece of paper here, you can find all the information about voting centers. It's the first QR code. And for those of us who may be older, you just hold your phone up there and it tells you where to go. It's very easy. The deadline to register has passed. It was October 24th. But don't fret. You can go to the second one here, and you can find out how to register to vote. And you can do that anytime. It'll tell you exactly how to do it. The third little QR code here is very nice, and it gives you lots of nonpartisan information about the voting, and that's done by the League of Women Voters. If you don't have this, there's some at the back. 2 last thoughts. Democracy is not a spectator sport, and the world is run by people who show up. So thank you very much for coming.
I would just like to thank our students from CS Arts who will be editing this like a professional, and it will be distributed on our website and on the city's website. The city did request it specifically from these students. And I'd like to thank our honorable mayor for being here, and for Adam Knight, who is also streaming this live on YouTube, where you can go back and watch it again. Thank you again, ladies from the League of Women Voters Pasadena. It has been an honor, and it has been an honor